Hello, welcome to the channel. We've been looking at an individual. His name is Ross Greenshield. I've had abuse from him before, but this time I think he thinks it's clever that he tells me that I'm off my meds, that I'm off my medication. He's implying that I, by definition, that I take medication and that I haven't taken it. So that's what this video is about. I did do a video on this, a short video, but I think it's kind of, I had a further look. I think it's fair what I'm doing. I think if you're going to go on the internet and say things, then you have to be accountable. So this is old Stirling. And obviously if you don't want to be accountable, don't go on the internet, don't go on social media. I mean, I do that and I accept that. Right, so, but I don't expect to be abused. So last night I was delighted to see the Black Boy fountain in action after months of being switched off. But today it's not flowing. Does anyone know what is going on? Now that Black Boy fountain, it does look wonderful, right? It does look wonderful. You know, especially in the summer, it's cold, really warm, lovely cold water. And the reality is that Stirling Council, more than likely, they will say they don't have the money for it. They won't spend money on anything like this because it's not part of the agenda. So that's the overall agenda we're talking about. So there's an overall agenda going on throughout in the United Kingdom and in Scotland. And that's what we're really talking about in this video. So my comment I made is, I believe, to be an accurate comment, and it's about, so if you look at the beauty of some of the older things, like there's a clock just down from there, the Christie clock, and that was knocked down by Stirling Council. Now they said it was dangerous and everything, but it was actually a really nice looking clock, beautiful clock actually, and it had been repaired in the last 20 years. And they conned the people into thinking that the clock was going to be renovated, and they ripped it down. And that was a thing of beauty. And this is a thing of beauty. And it's not beyond the realms of possibility that they'll rip this down. They more than likely will. And it's because, right, I'll go on to suggest what I believe the reason is. But what I said was, beautiful that is. Somehow the Green Communists at Stirling Council will break it. They can't appreciate beauty. And I think that's a true comment. And I think that to the wider sort of Green Communist agenda, if you look at electric cars, if you look at them, how horrible they are. There's no style about them. There's no passion about them. They're horrible, toxic, ugly, overly heavy, useless, horrible machines, right? So they are indicative of just how horrible things have got in the world. And well, we're talking about UK at the moment, Western civilization, because we've been pushed down this net zero agenda, this nefarious, dishonest climate lie that mankind's activities is destroying the planet. You know, it's heat. You know, we've got global warming and sea level rises, all sorts of things. None of them have been proved, and there's no scientific consensus at all about any of this. It's political manipulation. Right. So what I said is that. So it's not really relevant whether you're SNP, Conservative or Labour. These major political parties in this country are, as I see it, Green Communists, because they're pushing this agenda. The Conservative Party push it, the Labour Party push it, the SNP push it, the Liberals push it. The mainstream political parties push Green Communism. And perhaps you don't like the title, maybe it'd be different, we call it something different. But what that is the ultimate goal of that is you stuck in your 15-minute gulag. In this case, it would be Stirling. You wouldn't be able to leave. You'd be allowed to leave, yeah, but maybe 3 times a year. Your electric car or whatever it is you're using to travel. If you go to visit someone in air, you'll be able to do it, and then you try to do it the next time, you won't be able to get onto the motorway because your pass has been denied. And that's in the World Economic Forum's manifesto. That's not stuff that's made up or not real. It's real, right? And that's a potential future we've got, and the signs of it are quite clear. And this manifested itself from the COVID pandemic, and they just sort of brought in, they showed how they could lock people down and tell people they can't go out. They had to wear masks, all sorts of things. And this net zero agenda sort of manifested itself from that, from 2020 onwards. But there is a kickback starting, but we'll get down to Ross. So Ross said, the Green Communists running the Labour-Tory Coalition Council, you off your meds. Right, so there's 2 people thought that was funny. Avril Gold, Gillian Haldane. That's not funny. So I'm talking about Green Communists, and that's a movement. That's a sort of political movement. That's a political endeavour. So he's talking about a specific person, which is me. Right? So it turns out Ross studied environment, heritage and policy at University of Stirling. Married to Amanda Greenshields, right? I've had to edit my comment now. Some of the information I put in was inaccurate, but that's kind of irrelevant. The main thrust of what I'm saying is that Green Communists, so he's there's a Green Communist agenda, and it's cut. So basically what that is, it's the net zero, the push for net zero, the climate alarmism. The Conservative Party and the Labour Party and the SNP have been pushing this. The Reform Party, probably the only party that's not part of that. That's probably why they're becoming so successful. So I had to alter what I said, but he hasn't altered what he said. He's said the Green Comms running the Labour-Tory. So like the Labour-Tory Coalition Council, you off your meds. Well, yeah, I mean, the Green Communists are in the Tory Coalition Council, They are pushing this thing. They're not Tories. They're not the traditional Tories. They're power-hungry maniacs who will push anything to get in power, and that's what they did, and that's how they're out of power. But the Conservative government have been pushing Green Communism, net zero agenda. Of course they have. So you can call it whatever you like and try and be funny, and then say, accuse me of coming off my meds. But I don't think that's fair, and I think what I say is true. So he's went and commented, the clown. Right, so let's keep having a look at this guy, right? Ross Greenshields. Employed as a support practitioner, busy being a son, husband, father and revolutionary socialist. Studied environment, heritage and policy at University of Stirling. Studied archaeology at University of Glasgow. Married to Amanda Greenshields. Right, so that's a guy there, right? So, it's mostly political stuff he's putting on here. If you look at my Facebook page, it's more my videos and going out and about. But this indicates something about his mentality. It's all political stuff. He's distorted political viewpoint. He has to keep pushing it on here. But anyway, so he's married to Amanda Greenshields. So I already have done a video after he said I should get off my meds, and I'm looking at him there, right? So look how fucked up he looks, right? Look at the state of the guy, and I'm thinking, I'm looking at him going, well, You know, it's not so bad. He's got a lot of kids and that, you know, he's quite productive. You know. That's her, that's his wife, right? Amanda Greenshields. Now she studies nursing, mental health at Glasgow Caledonian University, and her husband's posting stuff about me taking my meds. He's shaming me because he says I should be taking he's assuming I take meds, and he's making a joke about the fact that I haven't taken my meds. And she's a mental health, a BSc Honours, nursing, mental health, Glasgow Caledonian University. Studied business and finance at University of Stirling, but I've not taken my meds today. Or is that the types they are? They think everybody should be on medications, so that they can then shame them. I mean, I think that's quite awful. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm shaming the two of yous. You're married to this idiot, right? You married this half-wit. And he's saying that to somebody he doesn't know, just because he doesn't. When you support a small business, you're supporting a dream. And what bullshit are you talking? You know, you put all your kids on here. What is this crap? Look at him. Look at that fanny. Right, so you go and you find out. So I'm looking at this guy going, well, yeah, that's not so bad. At least he's produced children. Not a bad. He's done not too bad. Look at him. You know, it's full of sperm. He's been reproduced. You know, more than what I've got. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fucking well done. Well done, Ross, eh? You're fucking fertile as anything, eh? Eh, right? That's Ross's job description. A support practitioner provides direct support to individuals, helping them to live their lives as independently and meaningfully as possible within their communities. This role involves assisting with various aspects of daily life, including personal care, medication management, finances, social and leisure activities. Support practitioners work closely with individuals to develop and implement personalised support plans, focus on their unique needs and goals. You know, so this guy is looking after vulnerable people, and he's come and tell me that he's trying to shame me because he thinks I should be on medication and I haven't taken it. That's what he's doing, this guy. This guy's telling me that I haven't taken my medication. Do you think that's appropriate? You know, so this guy's been at university, he's studied all these different things, and he's taken insulting people on Facebook with his wife, who's got a BSc Honours degree in mental health, nursing. How do you think that's affected my mental health, that somebody comes along and says that I haven't taken my medication? How do you know what my medical history is? And you can just say that. Or you could say that to anyone you don't know me, and you've said, have I taken my medication? Do you think that's appropriate? Well, I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think you should be, if you are a support practitioner, if you are involved, well, it's not really, you can't really blame her. She's married to him, right? So it's not really anything to do with her, it's him. So just calm down a bit with that, right? She's married to him. He's the one that's saying these things about somebody that he doesn't know, that I should be taking medication. I haven't taken my medication because he thinks it's funny, because he doesn't like me talking about green communists. So that is a group of individuals. It's not a person. It's a political move. The Conservative, the Labour and the SNP governments are all at it, pushing green communism. If they weren't pushing it, we wouldn't have wind farms, we wouldn't have battery facilities, we wouldn't have electric cars, we wouldn't have bike lanes, we wouldn't have mass uncontrolled immigration, we wouldn't have illegal immigration, we wouldn't have people coming across in boats. Where'd that end with this? There's a whole load of things with green communism. We wouldn't be having a war on the motorist if it wasn't for green communism in the Conservative Party and the Labour Party and the SNP Party. We wouldn't be having it because they are everywhere. They've infiltrated British politics. That's what I'm talking about, Ross. It doesn't mean I need to go and take medication. That's my opinion, and it's a very valid opinion. It's more than an opinion, it's a fact. A search of Ross, put Ross Greenslide's name in. So we'll come up with this. From size 24 to a yummy mummy. Mum of 5, Amanda Villas is half the woman she used to be. Right? Slimmer world class leader Amanda Villas in one of her old dresses. Right, she has shed more than 6 stones with the help of Slimming World, is now a class leader, inspiring others to change their lives as she has. Once a size 24, the 41-year-old, this was in 2014, is now comfortably getting to a size 10 dress. Sometimes borrows her teenage daughter's size 8 clothes. Amanda from Pleen had been a skinny child until she reached high school and her weight started to creep up. She said it was a time when we got told to eat everything in our plates. Yeah, well, that's just because they didn't want you to starve, you know. Because we started bringing the wrong food into the equation quite a lot. Right, so we'll just skip over this. But anyway, Amanda married at the age of 23. So this was 2014, she was 41. So she married at 23. And tried to hide her disappointment needed a size 20 dress for the occasion. After her first child, she started working for Thomas Cook and needed a size 24 uniform. So she was a big girl at 23, size 20. Amanda, who is now mum to Cameron, Rhiannon, Paige, Cassidy and 16-month-old Kia, is separated from her first husband. Right. So is now engaged to Ross Greenshields, 41, an archaeology student at Stirling University. So he's not all that productive, is he? He's moved in. This woman's dumped her husband, right? Who produced all these children to her. Dumped him. And met this fucking fanny Ross Greenshields, who's 41. An archaeology student. Instead of looking forward to the arrival of her youngest child, she couldn't help feeling she'd let him and herself down. When I went for my checkups, our staff wrote down things like abdomen thick and high BMI. So she had a caesarean section. I mean, you don't need to go to Slimming World. Just have a reasonable diet and a healthy lifestyle. So, well done you. You lost a lot of weight and you married Ross. So, he had a ready-made family. Fucking hell. So here he is. Employed as a support. You got to wonder, he's a support practitioner. I did care work for a while. It's not really highly skilled, is it? It's low paid. It's not particularly. It's not. After going to university and all that, it's not really a good career choice. It's not really a career, really. Father and revolutionary socialist. So here he is, University of Stirling. William Ross Greenshields, University of Stirling. There's not much to see here. William Ross Greenshields, Department of History and Politics. So I don't know what he's done, but other than being a revolutionary socialist. So there he is, he's in Led Zeppelin, by the looks of things. Look at that. Have I taken my meds? Do you think I take meds, Ross? Do you think I should take my meds? I don't think that's appropriate, Ross. No, it's not appropriate. It gets worser. It's getting worse. Iain McRobbie, right? He's another one. So it's like these lot, this Ross and Iain, they've been to university. They're highly educated. Right, so he says, you're still wrong. It's still a Labour Tory-run council. And green communism. What a load of crap you talk. One of Nigel's mob, are you? So this guy's studied at University of Strathclyde. Former teacher at Dunblane High School. It's like, so he's telling me I'm talking a lot of crap. So that's the two of them. They've both been to university. This one's been at the University of Stirling. And this one's been at the University of Strathclyde. He's a teacher. So they're educated professionals. And they're telling me, one's telling me I need to take medication, and others telling me I'm talking a lot of crap. So I said to Iain McRobbie, I don't have personal political opinions or affiliations, nor do I take medication. As an ex-teacher, do you think it's appropriate, productive to conduct a conversation in this way? That is the sort of language one would expect from less well-educated individuals. You know, it's like, what is it with these guys? What is it with them? This is quite common. See, if you mention green communism, it seems to bring out this reaction, this strange reaction from them. And it doesn't bode well when you think this is the people that are educating our children, or caring for children, educating them. That this is the sort of people that come out of university that are sort of radicalised left-wingers. If you mention green communism, they start going absolutely mad. You've got to ask yourself, I must be on the money, because otherwise they would just ignore me, wouldn't they? Iain McRobbie. Former teacher at Dunblane High School. Former maintenance electrician at Payton's. Former field service engineer at Xerox. Royal Naval Reserve. Maintenance electrician at United Glass. Electrician at Superglass Insulation. ATEX. Forth Electrical Services, FES. Royal Navy, University of Strathclyde, Open University. Went to St Modens High School. Lives in Dunblane. From Stirling. Married. Is that him there? Fuck. Is that his granddaughter? Jesus. I mean, they're unbelievable, these guys. You know, you mention green communism, they go absolutely nuts, honestly. I must be onto something. There's a new scam doing the rounds. Right, so he was in the Navy. So they don't like you mentioning green communism. Oh no. That's really a bit hard for them to. They don't like that one at all. Well, that looks like him there. That's his ugly mug. Iain McRobbie. So I'm talking a lot of crap, am I? I'm on medication. I mentioned green communism. I've got two academics losing their shit with me. So this is the political landscape, and so you've got different topics. We've all got different topics that we support. So, I'm dead against net zero. I'm dead against battery facilities, electric cars, wind farms. Basically, I mean, I'm against this mass toxic desecration of our land. So, I mean, you can put it into categories if you like. I'm for oil, I'm for gas, I'm for cheap, reliable energy. I'm for travel, I'm for people travelling around in cars, for reasonably priced cars and be able to travel and eat healthy food. I'm for prosperity, I'm for people enjoying life and having a future. That's what I'm for. And I know that obviously comes at a cost. But the cost that we're having to pay for the green communism. So I'm calling it green communism. It seems to be freaking these lot out. I've noticed that if you say green communism, so they either are green communists and they just cannot face it, and which is what I think they are. They are green communists. And it doesn't matter whether you're calling yourself a Conservative or a Labour or SNP. It doesn't matter. You're a green communist. You're pushing this net zero agenda. You're pushing 15-minute cities. And whether you don't actually accept, like these guys, maybe they're not really accepting the fact that it's going to happen to them, that they're not going to have a car, or they're going to be stuck in a 15-minute gulag, or they're going to have to eat fake food, or they're not going to be able to fly on holiday anywhere. So it's you and me. They're wanting you and me to suffer with this. And that's the whole ethos of the green communist agenda. And it's not a conspiracy theory. It's out there. It's real. It's in the manifestos. The government's pushing it. They've taken it. They're causing alarmism on the people, terrorising the people on a fake climate agenda. It's a political manifestation. It's not borne out by any scientific research. They've taken a synopsis of the findings of climate scientists, and it's those ones that they support. They pay them to push this, and it's ultimately to sell you and me stuff. So we sit there and go, yeah, we want wind farms, we want electric cars, we want battery facilities. We don't want to go anywhere and be stuck at home. That's what. So I hope that sort of covers where I am with this. It doesn't mean to say I'm part of Nigel's mob. What the hell's that got to do with it? What an idiot. Let's just to go over this again in case it all gets deleted, so we can see who's who. Right, so it's about this fountain and the potential, and I'm saying that I said beautiful, that is somehow the green communists at Stirling Council will break it. They don't care, appreciate beauty. I believe that is true, and I believe that probably will get broken, taken down. So Ross Greenshields, right, we'll have a look at him. Studying environment and heritage policy at University of Stirling. Married to Amanda Greenshields. That's Ross there. What we have, I don't have personal political opinions or affiliations, nor do I take medication. There are green communists in Stirling Council. The political parties are all part of or pushing the net zero agenda, with the exception of the Reform Party. That's a fact. The Reform Party is not pushing it. So in that point of view, I'm with the Reform Party. So that's what I've said. Saying Iain McRobbie, you're wrong. It's Labour, Tory, has been for some time. Right, so we're getting into I've been dragged out. They almost dragged me into a different argument here. Right, so to me, in Stirling Council, I was sort of wrong where I thought it was Labour. It's in actual fact, it's SNP, Labour, Conservative in the Stirling Council. But that's irrelevant. They're all pushing the net zero agenda. SNP, Labour and Conservatives are all pushing the agenda. It's irrelevant, right? So he's still on this argument, Iain McRobbie. Right, so Iain McRobbie is former teacher at Dunblane High School, studied education at University of Strathclyde. So he's retired, so he doesn't give a shite now. He's on his pension. He doesn't give a shite, so he doesn't think he has to follow any good behaviour or anything like that. He can be abusive towards people. There's Ross, Amanda's children. Ross, you mug. I would bet you £1 to a penny. There's no many of them got his facial expressions. No, what a mug. Absolute mug. No much wonder he's miserable. So, I don't know what's... So, here we are. So, Iain McRobbie, you're still wrong. It's still Labour, Tory. So it doesn't... And Green Communism, what a load of crap you talk. It's not crap. How's it crap, right? You don't want to accept it or admit it. You don't want to accept it when the battery storage facility catches fire at Kilwinning, right outside people's houses. That's green communism. You don't want to accept it when the battery facility catches fire in Plean when they build it. When it catches fire, you're not going to accept that's green communism. You're not going to accept it. It's something else, Iain McRobbie. So you think it's something else. All the wind farms up and down the country. That's green communism. All the electric cars, the charging points. Not being able to go to your work in the van because your electric van doesn't work. That's green communism. Not having correct food. That's green communism. Because the supplies have run. Not being able to get adequate healthcare. There's a whole load of things that's green communism. Running out of power. Power shortages. Green communism. Not being able to buy an effectively reasonably priced car because of green communism. because electric car costs like 50, 60,000 pound. A new battery, £17,000. Not being able to travel, not being able to go anywhere because you can't afford a car, not being able to live a good life because you can't afford to pay for the heating, because green communism has put the cost of heating up. That's green communism. There's lots of other things. I mean, there's loads of things. That's an example of green communism. There's plenty. But I mean, one of the worst is the battery facilities, actually. The lithium batteries in containers. And we've seen it. We've seen them exploding, bursting into flames. And yet idiots like you are still sticking your head in the sand. You don't want to know. You don't want to hear about green communism. So let's have another look at him just so we don't forget what he looks like. View profile. Right, there's the photos there. What a horrible guy, you know. I mean, he wasn't actually as bad as I mean, you start getting into this about the war and everything. First or Second World War. Generally, I'm supportive of service men and women, you know. But I don't think so. You can't be like this guy and have a sort of blind faith in the government. So you're supposed to serve your country, right? But you can't have a blind faith that everything they say is right, because that's what it seems like with this guy. Right, that's what it seems like. That's what they just don't want to know. You know, you don't want to know. Look at you fucking had it, right? And you don't like it because I mentioned green communism. You think I'm talking crap, but you're supposed to be a teacher, an ex-teacher, and you talk to me like that. What sort of idiot are you? You're not. You're not coming across. You've been at University of Strathclyde. You're a bit of an embarrassment to the University of Strathclyde, I would say. It's what it's looking like to me. But because they think they're right and I'm wrong, I'm not allowed to say green communism because they start freaking out. Well, at least he's procreated, eh? Right. At least he's procreated. Oh, an absolute fanny. Look at him. I don't think he's got long to go anyway. Look at him. Yeah, what a disgrace. Fucking, they're a disgrace to humanity, these guys. Absolute disgrace to humanity. University of Strathclyde, well done. Look at look at all this shit. Super glass. He's been told what to do. He's not allowed to do any thinking. I think that's the way it is with them types. You know, I'm all for the service, I'm all for the forces, but you can't accept everything. You guys following orders, you know. Or a clown, yeah. Absolute fucking clown, is that him there? Right, so enough of that. Well, you know, so that a bit wraps it up, guys. These so-called, look at that beautiful fountain. We'll just finish up. I think Ross has gone quiet. That's maybe a bit too much of an answer for him. Well, we'll leave it. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I'll maybe do an update. I think I've behaved myself fairly well. So that's as far as we've got with it. So this Iain McRobbie is trying to get into arguing about it's a so their argument is that, so I'm saying it's full of green communists, right? I'm saying it's full of green communists, and they are saying that it can't. I suppose their argument it can't be because it's Labour Tory coalition council. You're off your meds, so it doesn't change what I've said, you know, unless they are in disbelief that green communists could be in a Tory, Conservative party. I think is that their argument? So Ian's doing the same thing. You're wrong. It's Labour Tory and has been for some time. I mean, So you're still wrong. That's not wrong. All major political parties indulging in green communism. So they're pushing the net zero agenda. You're still wrong. And green communism, what a load of crap you talk. So this is one of so he's accusing me of being. So it's all in political lines. So they can't step outside the box. It's got to be in a political kind of. I've got to be with Nigel Farage. So I don't have personal political opinions or affiliations, nor do I take medication. As an ex-teacher, do you think it's appropriate, productive to conduct a conversation in this way? That is the sort of language one would expect from less well-educated individuals. So that wraps it up, guys. We've got Ross Greenslade, University of Stirling. We've got Iain McRobbie, University of Strathclyde, and we have Lucinda Ferguson, a University of Stirling. Academics. Really. So please remember to like, share and subscribe. We'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. Essentially, they are saying... So the question is, why are they so triggered by green communists, or triggered by it? And it's because they don't want to accept that that's what they are. Or essentially they're not really. I mean, that Iain McRobbie, he's probably quite well off. He's on a big pension and everything like that. He's not really a green communist. So is it because I think so? It's either they are green communists and they don't want to admit. So this guy, the other guy, Ross Greenslade, says he's a revolutionary socialist. So that, I don't think it would be a problem him. He's already admitted he's a revolutionary socialist. So Iain McRobbie is probably less likely to admit he's a green communist. So really you've got to ask yourself, what is a green communist? Well, a green communist is somebody that's pushing a net zero agenda. So if you're in the Conservative Party and you're pushing the net zero agenda, you're a green communist. If you're in the Labour Party and you're pushing the net zero agenda, you're a green communist. If you're in the SNP and you're pushing the net zero agenda, you're a green communist. And the SNP has been pushing it more in Scotland than the Conservative Party were in the UK government. And the Labour Party started pushing it when they got elected. And then it seemed to become full-on green communists. And they are still pushing it. The Reform Party are not pushing it. That's why they're becoming popular. That doesn't mean to say I'm one of their mob. But yeah, I think of all the parties, that's the only one you can vote for on this issue. That's important to me. So that's more important to me than toilets, for example. Or some such nonsense. So Iain McRobbie, University, academic, Ross Greenslade, ready-made father, university academic. He's been taken for a mug with that. I wonder what happened to the father of the kids. But you know, women do that. They dump you and then they fall in love with. She lost all that weight. Why didn't she fucking lose all that weight when she was with her first husband, with the man that provided all them children? You know, why did she have to go and to lose such a fucking huge amount of weight, to come from 24 to 10 or 8, a size 10, or was it 8 or 10? That's unfucking healthy and unnatural. That's weird, right? And then to go and fucking marry this weirdo from the university. How the fuck did you meet him? Were you up there? Well, anyway, good luck to yous. You probably deserve each other. So thanks for watching. And that was... And it's maybe not over yet. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll just add it together. Bye.
It's just mental masturbation.
Hey, welcome to the channel. Welcome back. I was going to add this on to the previous video about Iain McRobbie. So what's happened is, well, nothing really. He's left the building. So what was said, the SNP, this is about the Black Boy Fountain and the green communism. So the argument essentially was with two academics, Ross Greenshields and Iain McRobbie. And so what I said was, beautiful that is, somehow the Green Communists at Stirling Council will break it. They can't appreciate beauty. So these two academics, Ross Greenshields, the Green Communists running a Labour Tory coalition council, you off your meds, which is quite a horrible thing to say. That's why I've recorded this. And he's supposed to be a care practitioner. Should report him to the Care Commission. But anyway, he didn't say anything further than that. But Iain McRobbie joined in. So Ross Greenshields, he's been at the University of Stirling, studied politics. Iain McRobbie, retired teacher. Studied, he's an academic as well, got a degree at University of Strathclyde. Essentially what they two are saying, it can't possibly be Green Communist because it's Tory, so it says there, Tory council, so they're ridiculing my position. Of course, my position is that it doesn't matter what they're called, they're Green Communists and they're pushing net zero. They all did it, and the Conservatives did it. Labour, Conservative, SNP, the Green Communists. So we had a bit of a discussion about it. So it seems like Iain McRobbie has went in a big magic huff. So he's blocked me. So what was the last thing I said to him was, well, I just added this morning. Generally, I was just taking it quite easy. I was just taking my time and answering. So he did the answer yesterday, the day before yesterday. I went to read it and I couldn't find him, so he's blocked me. So the question was, and this is what he didn't answer, he's blocked me, so I can't see the answer. The SNP are still following Green policies because they need Green, any support as it were, support in Parliament, because the SNP voters were objecting to the consequences of Green policies. Can you please explain what you mean by climate denier? Do they have a manifesto? And of course, if you watch, I'll be adding this video to the other video. If you watch it, you'll see that he was accusing me of being a climate denier. Climate change denier. Right, so that was his straw man for me. So basically, we've asked him what a climate change denier, what is that? What does he mean by that? So if you've got somebody narcissistic like that having a go at you, so we've got we have two academics. So these are the type of people that are brainwashed by this net zero thing and following orders. Supposed to be academics, but they're not doing their due diligence. They're not exercising their due diligence. And I think it's starting to fall apart a bit. So they didn't really like the idea of me, objecting to their position. And it's all going to start falling apart soon. So he's went in a big huff. You can see all my answers. Well, you'll be able to see it actually if you go into this. I can't see it because I'm blocked by him. I can't see his, what he's saying. So it's an old Stirling, Fiona Finch. Last night I was delighted to see the Black Boy Fountain in action after months of being switched off. But today it's not flowing, so I don't know what is going on. So essentially what I'm saying is that they will knock that down. It's a beautiful structure, but I reckon they'll knock it down, yeah. Because the Christie clock's been knocked down. If they can get away with it, they'll knock it down. That's what I'm saying. So there's Iain McRobbie there. Imagine this guy being so childish. He's in the Daily Record. Imagine him being so childish that he can't actually discuss this. I'm hoping Day will raise awareness. Time to remember armed forces. Veteran Iain McRobbie, 50, 2012, served as leading weapons engineer mechanic on board HMS Arding during the Falklands War. It was sunk during the conflict with the loss of 22 lives. Now a technical teacher at Dunblane High School, Perthshire, Iain said, HMS Arding was the first ship to go into San Carlos at midnight, the night before the landings. My job was the 3 decks down, where you couldn't see what was going on. You could hear the ship was under attack, but you had no idea what direction the bombs were coming from. Time moved very slowly, and it was a case of focusing on your job and waiting. In the end, we had no power, no weapon systems. The flight deck was hanging off the back of the ship. All of the stern was on fire. The aviation fuel tanks were on fire, threatening one of the magazines, which could have exploded at any time. We had no firefighting capability. So, I mean, he's had a bit of a life, but I mean, so have I. You know, I haven't been in the forces, but I don't think it was right to do what he's doing. You know, he seems to be an eminent member of the community. I mean, I'm just trying to have a educated exchange with him, and he's just shut me right down. Doesn't want to talk about it. So I think it's quite a bad sign for him. I don't think he's, I don't think he's trustworthy. He should have been able to tackle my questions without blocking me like that. He shouldn't have been so dogmatic. And I think he must have realised he was losing. And this is an educated man. And that's what I said to him. You're supposed to be an educated man, and you're not. He was being rude to me. He was telling me I was talking crap when I wasn't. So he's been on a Daily Record. He's talking about the M9. He's involved with a lot of stuff. Well, you need to up your game a bit, you know. I mean, or maybe he doesn't need to. Maybe he doesn't give a shite about somebody like me. Who cares? Yeah, right enough, aye. Fine, you'll be dead soon anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It won't be any loss, really. At the end of the day, we're all forgotten very soon. So what? You were on a boat in Falklands. Yeah, so, and now you're fighting to support the destruction of our infrastructure by green communists. That's what you're doing. So why did you go and fight in the Falklands for Great Britain when you don't seem to give a shite about Great Britain? There he is. Mr. Iain McRobbie runs Dunblane High School's annual World War I battlefields tours. And you can see the exchange that I had with him. It was all very polite. There was no swearing, the swearing came from him, yeah. I was being totally polite about it. I'm a bit really disappointed in an upstanding citizen that can't give me the time of day and discuss things that I feel strongly about. And for somebody that's fought for the British Empire, he's fought for Great Britain, he got sent down to Falklands by Margaret Thatcher to defend the Falklands, defend the British Empire. And here you are selling it out to the Chinese Communist Party. I don't get it, Iain. I just do not get it, and that's what I was asking you. And that's what we were trying to talk about. So instead of explaining yourself, you couldn't do it, you went in a huff and blocked me. Right. It reminds me, on the same topic, I'm going to go in a minute, was the Daily Record did a piece about Falkland, the Falkland community voice. They're talking about how we've got a community voice, and I haven't got it because I got banned from it because I didn't agree with 20 zones. So this guy Iain McRobbie's a bit like that, isn't he? But at the end of the day, you can block someone if you want to. I can't stop people from doing that. But I don't think it's a good look. And I'm going to add this to the video that I made the other day, and you can see what a piece of crap he is. Yeah, so don't listen to him. Don't listen to his shite. He doesn't give a shite about Great Britain. He doesn't give a shite about it, because if he did, he wouldn't be selling us out to the Chinese Communist Party. He went to the Falklands War, wasted his fucking time. Well done. Normally I would be very proud of someone who's done that, but I don't see it. Why would you do that? You went to Falklands, and there you are, selling us out to the Chinese Communist Party. Totally Hook, line and sinker. And he couldn't argue it. He couldn't argue it. He had to block me. He couldn't argue his way out of it. And he couldn't actually turn around and admit he was wrong. So he was getting frustrated and angry, so he had to block me. This is the only option. So Iain McRobbie, you are a fanny. If you want to talk about this, send me a message. We'll carry on the debate. I'm quite happy to do that. So thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Everybody. Bye.